Hello, hello, hello. Come on with the on time arrival. Not necessarily on my end, but welcome to the Yungfleur Life Space. I think someone tapped in and tapped back out. I don't know. Hi, hi, hi. Let me get myself queued on up. Let's see who's in here. I'm about to let all the people know on the IG to pull up right now. Let's see. Let's see. Who's here? Is it just me? It says one. Let me see. Trying to share this link with the people so they know to tap on in. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's see. The girls are so pushy. The people are so pushy. Hi, welcome to the space. How are you? I'm sending the live along to some other people back on the IG space so that hopefully they chime in. But happy Thursday. What's going on? Hey, yo, you are funny, Don. You and your orders. Listen, I will answer every call, okay? I'm about to put an Uber order in right now. Keep playing with me. Nah, but today should be a lot more together. I never got a chance to speak about Pat yesterday. Maybe we should have that come away from this. I mean, sure. Unless you'd like to share now. I don't think anyone's joined in just yet, but we can also chop it up in the text or the DM. Are you not looking forward to the collaboration? Or do you feel a bit skeptical about that upcoming launch? I think everybody's pretty excited about it. I haven't heard any people that weren't like over the moon about her getting ready to work with them. Let me get myself hooked up. I'm also curious about how long she's going to be doing that because my girl has her own brand. She does so much. She creates for so many different brands. Like the same day that they announced the drop, the beauty line and all of that, she was like posting that she was at Alaya. I'm like, this girl is booked. This lady is booked and busy. So I don't know how she even juggles all of it. I mean, a good team, of course, but let's see. The people are not joining. Listen, I'm trying to get the people to pull up. We'll see. But I don't know. I mean, I think that at least there's a lot more that we'll see coming from that. And I wonder, like, I mean, I feel like knowing that it's Louis Vuitton is probably going to be exclusively available through their own shops, but they are not playing about the beauty thing these days when it comes to the luxury brands. Like, it's just ever expanding with this like migration into the beauty strategy to pull in money. I feel like the handbags, like, we'll try to wait from here. Way too much to type. No worries, babe. Sounds good. Sounds good. But tonight, we are finally. Let me take out my earbuds because I feel like it's fucking me up. And also, speaking of technical things, hopefully today, hi Azul, welcome to the Yungfleur Life Space. I'm Yungfleur. We are live. I missed you, babe. Thank you for joining. We are all on the YouTube, as you know, the second home. So if you would be so kind as to type in on the YouTube, I would really appreciate that. I'm like on the Instagram, of course, so that I can like catch all my people where they see me on the original space, but hoping everyone makes the migration. And thanks for the thumbs up on the YouTube as well. But let's all make the migration to the YouTube. Let me put in the link. Hopefully that works. And I will pin that comment so everybody knows to go there. But tonight we are finally getting into the shows, okay? The red carpet stuff is done, okay? I'm done with the red carpet stuff. Like I think, like I was saying before, going forward, I'm probably gonna cover that. Hi Azul, welcome. Thanks for joining, my love. I'm glad you crossed over. Please give your boy a thumbs up. That's the last thing I'm gonna ask from you. The last thing I'm gonna ask for tonight, besides what you think of these collections, okay? Did you get to have y'all gotten to check out the autumn winter 2025 shows as they've been coming down in the past couple days? We got some biggies. We're finally getting into the things, babe. We're getting into the Paris shows. It's going down. Are you getting your life? Are there any things that you're loving specifically? I want to for today or tonight, three shows that I specifically want to tackle before we are out this bitch, because you know we get carried away, we get on a tangent, we be running and running and ripping and running. But I specifically want to talk about Balmain. I want to talk about Alaya tonight. We'll be talking about Alaya. We'll be talking about the Dries Van Noten show. Did we see the Dries show? Did we see the Dries show? Did we see any of the shows, bitch? The Tom Ford. Of course, we have to talk about the Tom Ford, and then I want to talk about the Blue Marine as well. So those are some of the shows we'll be talking about tonight. So I don't know if you got to see any of those, but now is your time to fire up that Vogue app. You know we don't fuck with the desktop. We barely fuck with the app, updates and all. But I hate a damn paywall. You know me. Hi, Auntie. Thanks for joining the space. I appreciate you. And I know you're gonna go up for that Dries. I know my girl loves a good pattern, okay? You love a little bit of a quirk to it. I was like, but still like giving like feminine, you know, we'll get into that for sure. But let's see, where do we start? You know, I want to start just because I'm kind of just fresh off of talking about Balmain in my stories. If you saw my Instagram stories before we got into this, I was kind of just breaking down the collections. And, you know, you know me, like I'll definitely talk about if I don't fuck with anything. Like when I view these shows, like normally just as a just it's not even like a disclaimer, it's just like an understanding before folks start like with their regular antics. Um I'm viewing these a little bit more objectively and less about yes, it was an eclectic girlie's dream, okay? It was for the artsy girls. It was fab. I was feeling the headwear moment. Anyway, let me not jump the gun as I always do. Um, but yeah, Bowman, I was just talking about, so I just want to get into that just to start. Thank you all for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Like you don't even know. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for always supporting. But let's get into the shows. That's what we came to do. You know, I know it's 9:30. All right, I had to start a little bit later. I like brought my ass out to a little cafe nearby to talk about the shows. Um, hmm. Let me see if I can pull up. So you know what? Like, fuck a paywall for real. I'm just gonna go ahead and show the video. Let's see that. Let me try that as like a different style of things. And y'all, let me know. I'm doing the technical kind of work tonight, of course. So let me know if we are laggy. I apologize for the last live as far as the lagginess was concerned. Especially when you would share your screen and scroll. Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think there's always a bit of a lag that happens when you're doing that switch over. I'm gonna test things out to see, you know, it's a growing process. So please bear with me. I appreciate the patience, but I'm gonna see when exactly makes this, you know, those moments happen where the lag happens. I'm working off of the house Wi-Fi, but if it gets laggy, let me know. And I'm gonna switch over to my phone hotspot and see if that helps. Because the live before that, where like there were no complaints that I heard, I was using my hotspot. So anyway, we figuring it out. You know me, forever giving AV tech or whatever on this thing. But I'm firing up the Ballman collection. What did we think of Ballman? Did you guys watch the Ballman collection? Share screen. I'm about to share screen with y'all. Let's see. Let's see. Um, all right. Let me know if I'm still laggy, y'all. Let me know if I am still laggy on the thing. Ballman. Oh, let me full screen it. So Ballman, autumn winter 2025. And you know what I was saying before in my stories earlier, nice collection, you think? There's there's a lot of Olivier in his collections. He is definitely somebody who his collections always speak to where he is in his evolution as a person, as a designer. Ooh. Trying to find the tools as usual, but let me so weird. I'm already starting. Anyway, it'll be fine. So, Bomb Man, right? The Bomb Man woman has changed. Hi, welcome to whoever joined the Yungfleur live space tonight. I'm Yungfleur. We are live, right? We certainly are, babe. And we are talking about Bomb Man Autumn Winter 2025 tonight. We are getting into the show. We're getting into the shows tonight, okay? So cue that Vogue app up. I'm not playing with you. All right. So what I was saying was, let me pull up my notes. Let me pull up my notes because your boy definitely was going hard at the cafe earlier, taking some notes. Let me get it queued up. So as I was saying, with this collection, Olivier is exploring the new phase or the next era of his work and of what Balmain is headed into. He said in the Vogue app or Vogue runway review, he did say, you know, like after 14 years of creating, you know, it's about time for something new. Like, why wouldn't someone, you know, evolve at that point? And so this is him really showing where he's at right now. One thing about the Balmain collections is that Olivier is always talking about this rumination over who is the Balmain woman. What does she represent? What does she like? How does she like to display herself? How does she communicate her sensuality? How does she communicate her strength and her power? I mean, power, strength, these are words that like they can be really filler, especially when the collections come around. What's the preference in 1 second. Let me finish my thought. I feel like strength and power and a powerful woman, a strong woman, she knows what she wants. You know, those are always the phrases that are thrown around like bullshit across collections, season after season after season. It's what the celebrities just go to as their fodder for the interviews when people ask them, "What did you think of the collection?" It was strong. She knew what she wanted. So much power, but it was soft. And I'm like, that's literally every fuck it, girl. That's what Walmart, what people walked out with at Walmart. You know what I mean? They'll say the same thing of that. Like, what's the difference? Like, what are you saying? There's a lack of depth there in those kind of analyses. What's the preference in using the app instead of sites? Um, the preference in using the app instead of the site is that the site requires you to it has a paywall that comes up, and I think the Vogue Runway app also has like a wall. But the difference is that with Vogue, with the app, you have to sign up and then you have access and you're in, you can look at the collections, you can download whatever. On the website, you have to have a subscription. You have to have an online Vogue, a digital Vogue subscription in addition to the print. So even I think even if you have a print subscription, you have the digital subscription is separate from that. So yeah, basically you can't see all the collections unless you pay some money, is a long story short. That's why I always say go on the app instead of going on the site, or I talk about the app more than the site, because I don't know if you've seen me do lives on here, but I'm forever cursing them out behind that. Anyway, getting back into this collection, you know, we've been seeing Olivier in the past couple runway shows almost doing this like retrospective kind of thing, like harking back to his own work and the things that he likes. And in the past couple seasons, he's been exploring what those things mean to him now. This gave a blown up version of the Balmain girl when he first started. It is absolutely, the connection is there. You know what I mean? It is still the same woman. It is a continuation of that storyline. But now I think he's reviving the Balmain army aesthetic. And as corny as the whole Balmain army, hashtag Balmain army thing, um, uh, as much as that was, you know, whatever, it was lucrative. It's been lucrative. It was an amazing marketing ploy. Did an amazing job of really ushering people into the post Christophe de Carnin era of Balmain after the former creative director, that really put the brand on the map as far as our recent memory, with those really distressed PC broken up military punk grunge looks with the power shoulders that made Balmain what we know it to be. It's like a deep introspection on his key elements from his Kim era. There's a lot of harking to that. There's a lot of like elements of like even the Balmain, specifically Fall 2014 collection, one of my favorites we see in there. Um, he employs some of his signature looks from the past, but in place of his bold and fortified metal hardware, this time around, the materials used have kind of melted away some of the rigidity of the past collections. Instead of kind of like the braided rope embellishment that we would see, like y'all remember when he did, it was like his thing, those rope with the metal bits embellishing them. Instead of that, we've got these leathers, we've got these wools that really, you know, amplify this sense of just like palpability, of tangibility, like there, and more specifically pliability. Like there's a lot of give to this collection. There's a lot of moldability. There's a lot of like vulnerability, and kind of, you know, in a almost cliche kind of trope, finding that strength within the softness. Um, and she's easier, more supple. Because here's the thing, like if you look at these collections and you look at it in a timeline, in a storyline, right? She's malleable. That's the word. Thank you, thank you. Because here's what I'm thinking. Like, the thing about the ball man army aesthetic, right? That we know that the hard metal, the braided rope, all of these almost like latent kind of like underneath underneath the surface kind of BDSM-y kind of restrictive kind of things. Those were how the ball man woman used to kind of communicate her power. You know, you see a girl or a person in a ball man look with all of these bits and all of this, and you're like, how are you moving in that pencil skirt, bitch? How are you moving in those shoes? How are you moving in that bodice? Like, you are snatched into this piece, but like it was in this way where it was like you couldn't help but watch her, but you also wanted to keep your distance. Like, she never really seemed super approachable. She never seemed approachable. She always seemed like you had to keep she kept you at a distance, and that was how she controlled. That's how she found her power, was controlling her space, controlling the distance, controlling the interaction in the seduction, maintaining her role as the dominant one in the seductive process. She's the one that's setting the tone. And now I think she's like, I don't need to be so loud. I don't need to be like very like rah rah rah. I don't need to give you all of this peacocking, really. A lot of peacocking. And the thing about it that I was saying in the stories is at the same time, we've I feel like even the public, you know what I mean? You don't even have to be a fashion person. You just have to see Kim Kardashian or Rihanna in a couple of those throwback ball man looks to get that sense that at the same time that these looks were strong and very bold and communicated this quote unquote power, and there was a lot of this fluff, you know what I mean? This visual fluff. The other side of that is that it is a gilded cage. In a way, it's designed to keep people at bay, but also keep you trapped in the same at the same time that the ballman woman is exerting her control and her force over the world around her, her external world, you know what I mean? It also communicates or hints at this sense of nervousness or not necessarily being too sure or really feeling the need to, like I said, peacock. You know, the phrase peacocking is this idea of like mustering things up. It's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily that like this is just how things are flowing, specifically in the ballman sense. It's like, I'm a ballman army soldier. Let me put on my armor. Let me put on my weapons. Let me, you know, show people that I'm a force. Let me put on my big hoops. Let me put on my things. You know what I mean? It's a lot of instruments. It's a lot of accessories, literally and figuratively. And now she's like, you know what? In her own inner world, she's found this sense of balance, this sense of peace and relaxation, and also security, that she's kind of taken the training wheels off now. She doesn't need the power shoulders to make her feel strong. She doesn't need a Tisha Campbell shoulder no more. She doesn't need the strapped in looks that make people ooh and ah anymore. She's gentler on her body and gentler in the way that she feels the need to exert this control, because she's macking now. She's kind of taking things back, sitting back a little bit, getting herself a little bit more comfortable. She knows who she is. The thing is, she used to think she knew who she was. She swore she did. And now she actually does. You know what I mean? Like she's gotten all her grown woman shit, you know, and she's done away with some of the extra bits that weren't necessary. She shaved that away. We still did get some of those tight, constricting looks, but even when you look here, like there's still an easiness in the flow. The way the material works, it bends, it folds along the body. You see the way that material is like bending, and it shows that pliability. Would you say that it wasn't relatable being so structured and standalone? I think it spoke to how a lot of people want to feel, and still want to feel this need of, once again, like when you are in a place where you don't feel comfortable, you feel a bit vulnerable, that fashion is, you know, literally people's armor. You're able to dress yourself up so that even if you don't feel strong, you can hopefully manifest it through dressing the part. And hopefully in that performance of strength, she's able to kind of influence the inner world. Once again, that external internal world balance that I'm talking about. She's able to kind of be like, I look strong and people are recognizing and they're telling me that I'm strong. And so I really feel that strength. It feels like a boost. 80s are so back. I mean, 80s are definitely having their moment, but I feel like they've been having their moment for a while. And especially when it comes to Olivier and Balmain, like the 80s are constantly a reference for this man. So many of those like musical references that he talks about that really power the direction of his collections are from the 80s. Even in the show, they did music is a big part of what he does and has been a big part of the shows. He had that a cover from the Chromatics of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Women need armor for sure. Women need armor. But I mean, for him, he's exploring it in this way where the armor is new. There's still that ostentatiousness. There is still that peacocking. Like, don't get it confused, because one thing that we definitely see remain. Oh, and here he go. Here he go, braids and all. And if you can build that into a garment, you're winning. The success of Alaya. I've heard, like, I feel like the Alaya collections are most definitely like polarizing. Um so I think you see it all through the I wish I could pull up. Let me see. Oh man. Let me get into the specific parts. You know what? Let me even, because sometimes I think it's not gonna let me. Yeah. I literally just tried to get on the Vogue. Let me just pull up the Hype Beast from Hype Beast, y'all. And let me get into some of the looks here. So we see once again those 80s reference. I still can't get over the fact that he doesn't commission someone to create a nicer way. Listen, babe, I don't know. I do not know what that's about. All these black women, all this homage to blackness and African culture and exploring that, and we couldn't explore, a better wig maker. We couldn't get that exploring in the mix. The seductive allure of mesmerizing protection. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's all in there. Hard wigs off. Listen. So let me get so yeah, like I was saying, like he still loves a large silhouette. We saw the cocoon jackets; those were definitely a favorite of mine. And also notice once again, like I said, things have changed. Look at where the metal and the hardware has been placed. Now we've got like these thick bangle cuffs. We've got some earrings, but we don't really see a lot of metal work happening in the looks themselves. Um, what did y'all think about these little column boots, by the way? I feel like this is the trend that's catching on as well. These like straight up and down kind of like column style boots. And another thing he mentioned about the collection was the implementation of gray melange, which we see here, and that is something that he has never explored in his collections, apparently. And so, once again, embracing this softness. He also said, besides the gray melange, he also incorporated a lot of cashmere into the collection. Once again, just really this softness. We've got the gold buckles here. So the jewelry is still chunky, but it's by no means a comparison to what he used to do. I think this was the most gilded, kind of metallic moment that we saw. LOL, we need a close up. I got you. This was the most kind of like ornamental and gaudy that we saw the collection get. But even still, this still has a very, aside from the texture, it's a lot more subdued. Let me see. And even once again, going back into the footwear as well continues to communicate that pliability and that softness, this mold, this ruched, really ruffled kind of a combat high heel boot with the pockets, the cargo pockets on the side. And even the belting, like these bamboo, croc belts. Normally, we would see a lot of metal in this situation. Like that was the standard. And now there are these more mattified, monochromatic animal print moments or animal skin moments. Like I said, he talks about I think him who talked about the cocooning. Let me see if I can pull up the review for us really quick. One sec, I'm pulling up the review so I can really quote him verbatim. Um, he said, I want to make a new softness with shapes that are cocooning. And this is what he was like, I'm proud of this collection because for me, it is the beginning of a new era. And after 14 years, if I cannot write a new book, then what is the point? And now I think this is what I'm doing. Like I said, we're starting to see a lot more of Olivier's own personal aesthetic. He's no longer feeling the need to kind of live up to, what Christophe de Carnan said beforehand or what people have in their minds as what a Balmain collection is. He's really taking the reins and telling us what his own personal sense of style is. And the thing about it is that I'm not necessarily a fan of his personal sense of style, especially when it comes to menswear. But with this women's wear collection, I actually liked it. I saw some people that really were not fans of it. I thought it wasn't bad. Do you want to connect this? It's definitely giving a one size fits all, so to speak. More wearable pieces, definitely more wearable. And that's the other thing. On a commercial level, these pieces are a lot more wearable, and a lot more inviting. And can also, like you said, one size fits all. So in a roundabout way, he's made things a lot more different sizes to wear as well. Although I did notice that this time around with the collection, I know like there's other girls that are clocking it better than I will, but with this collection, there was no Precious Lee, there were no plus size models this time around. Although there were silhouettes that would lend themselves to fit on a larger body. I wish we could have seen, with this newer precedent and this newer exploration of things, I would have loved to see how these looks fit on a Balmain soldier who isn't, a zero. Especially when that's kind of like from what Olivier has spoken about is kind of like the theme that's the idea of where we're going with these collections, right? Um, but yeah, like even like this, like this particularly this kind of like bent and folded, geometrically folded leather feels like a pared down version of some of the manipulation that he normally used to do when he was embellishing his clothing. So she's a lot more approachable now. And he's been successful. I haven't heard of anything like a slowdown yet. I am curious because Balmain did come under like new management not too long ago. So I'm wondering what effect or what influence they may be having as well, on the direction of the brand and the designs that we're getting. But like I said, I liked the Balmain collection. I don't know why people were like hating it so much. This I liked more than some of the other collections because normally it is not this friendly. The worst I can say is I hated what I hated was these shoes, bitch. These little folded up lunch bag shoes were not it for me. I must say. I'm not too picky about the boot. That could be fun, but these shoes gotta go. These little folded up shoes, like I get it. It's for the artsy fartsy girls. I don't know what they see in it. It's not my bag. It's not my thing. Let's move on to another collection though, because there definitely is plenty to talk about this season. Please excuse the sounds of the Bronx in the background because the girls. There's always like I feel like we all have that one, or like every few of us have that one couple that just refuses to fight anywhere else but right outside your door. Let's get into the Tom Ford show. What do we think of Tom Ford? You know, and the thing is that I'm talking about all the poppin' ass shows right now, and I just know the next time that we get on live, the people are gonna be like, can we talk about Tom Ford? Did you talk about Tom Ford yet? And I'm like, yeah. I talked about it during the show where I told you I was gonna talk about it. But let's look at Tom Ford. What did you a lot of hub, a lot of hype around this collection being Hader Ackerman's first runway show for the brand. I'm really curious to see what my people think, what the garden feels about the collection. What do y'all think? Welcome to anyone who's just joining in. Welcome to the Yungfleur Live Space, my friend. I'm Yungfleur. We are live here on the YouTube, giving you just a classic Yungfleur recap of the Fashion Week season. We're talking about autumn winter 2025. We in Europe, babe. New York has settled. She's had her time. London's did her little thing. Milan has just concluded not too long ago. And now we're really getting into the designs, okay? We're getting into the things that are going to be really trending. Tom Ford was good, a strong good, and a lovely introduction and a needed departure for what was happening prior. Now, did y'all pay attention to my earlier stories on the Yungfleur Instagram where I was telling you to read into Vanessa Friedman's article for the New York Times? It's called Becoming Tom Ford. And in that article, it's about 2 days old now. She talks about she spoke with Hader Ackerman to talk about, it's like a full expose on how he ended up coming into the Tom Ford deal, which we got to talk about. His goal with the collection, his approach to the collection, and really, it's a great article. It's a needed article as we head into this new era. It's a great way to cross over and really seals off, you know, what happened during this really brief stint with Peter Hawkins, who was the creative director for what, like 1 season, maybe two, like 2 seasons. I think he had like one show, one lookbook, and that was it. Tom was pleased and in full performance mode pre-show, which was good to see. I want to talk about that as well. I really want to talk about Tom Ford and his like voice, his enthusiasm, his present non-presence at the Tom Ford brand now that he's quote unquote left and is not affiliated necessarily with the business of what's going on. But oh, this ain't even another thing. I need just a note if I don't know who watches this thing or where it will reach, but the people who repost the Fashion Week shows, we don't need all this. I know personally, I understand it's super easy to just like repost the thing, just copy, paste, done. I don't need the first 15, 20 minutes of the repost to be literally the part of the stream going on and we're waiting for the show to start. I don't understand what the purpose is of that. They could have just cut straight to it. And sure, I can too, but still, like, no. All right, let's play her. It's about. Yep. Tom was very pleased, but let's talk about this collection. So, Hader has made his debut. You know, Hader is. We already had this. I'm not even gonna do this with all of y'all. You know, I'm still affected. I'm still in my feels. After y'all try to claim Hader all of a sudden in the garden chat, BTW, the Yungfleur Live garden chat is one of the most poppin' kept secrets on the Instagram metaverse or the Instagram space or the metaverse. That is the private DM chat for the Yungfleur Live space where all of us can just jump in there and talk about fashion related things and a couple other miscellaneous subjects 24/7. And it's also a place where I can let y'all know when I'm showing or I'm going to be going live. So let me know if you want to get in on the private DM chat on the Yungfleur Live Instagram, and I'll tag you in. But yeah, so with this show, you know, and a lot of these notes are taken from, once again, that Vanessa Friedman article on the New York Times. It's a really good article, y'all. Becoming Tom Ford by Vanessa Friedman. Please get a read in. It's juicy too, and that's the other thing. It's tea. It's tea. I'm gonna do a breakdown on it tonight when I finish this, and post that tomorrow. I'm committing myself because I took so many notes. Like, it was so much, so many questions answered, so many more questions left to be asked, like new questions left to be asked, and then so much just tea. Let me get to it. Let me just get to it. So one thing Hader talked about was marrying his own sense of sensuality with the classic Tom Ford sexuality. Now, in my eyes, I don't know what I saw some other people like, oh, the Tom Ford was there. You know, this is not a Tom Ford. This is not a typical Tom Ford collection at all. This is not that. And decidedly so, deliberately so. One thing about Hader, like, he's not Tom Ford. You know what I mean? Tom Ford's sense of like really brash and out there and unapologetic sexuality is not something that Hader ever really channels. That's not his vibe. That's never been his vibe at all. And he admits that he just simply, it's not his thing, and it's simply just not something that he explores or really grasps. I don't want to say grasp, but it's not something that he really clings to. It's not his style. The tailoring was in the building though. Absolutely, absolutely. And I will talk about the highlights that he gave us that were just classic Tom Ford, because there was a bit of that, but we did get to see, Hader's voice there. We got to see an idea of what the marrying of those two worlds could suggest. So I feel like of all the looks, there was this one uh mm, there was this one look that I was like, this is the most like Tom Ford, like throwback, like classic Tom Ford that we've seen. This look right here just really gave me like him being as close to it as possible. Uh, Good. Okay, now I know how to share different tabs. Hi, Morgan. Thanks for joining the Yungfleur Live Space, my love. I'm Yungfleur. We are live. Please thumbs up if you haven't already. I appreciate it. We are talking about Tom Ford, obviously, under Hader Ackerman. This look right here, the sex was too strict to reform. Tom is an exhibitionist, and Hader is really not when it comes to those designs. Not at all. This was the most kind of like out there, the most kind of like deviant that we saw. The deviance was not there, and that's the one of the spices to the Tom Ford kind of souffle. The sex was too strict. Yeah, it's just not in his, hey, I'm on my TV to watch and phone to comment. I appreciate you. I know you're normally a TV watcher for sure. Um, you should totally screenshot or like send me a photo of me on the screen. I'm like gathering all of those. I love them. We saw a lot of these like very thin belts. And once again, like you said, the tailoring was in the building. We definitely got that attention to the tailoring. We definitely got that poshness. And this was another Tom Ford kind of like classic. These shoes, definitely, it was like spot on Tom Ford vibes, right? And even in the colors, very muted colors, lots of black leathers specifically. And also we got that really fun kind of like Hader Ackerman colorway. Hader, one thing I was really excited about to see Hader come to Tom Ford is the fact that like he gets color in a way that Tom does. Like the way that they play with colors, they play with textures. That's why I was like, oh yeah, this is a shoe in. And I feel like this is probably another reason that a lot of people following the news and the appointment were also excited to see him there, because he just gets that. So yeah, lots of the black leather. Like this felt also like a little bit of a sensuality there. Um, ooh, not this. Hold on, y'all. There we go. But yeah, lots of black leather. And these kind of like once again the 80s being back, like y'all said, these like slick back hairdos, which we've also seen in some we've seen a similar silhouette in Hater's own shows. But there's a coolness, there's an easy move, even like kind of like these tucked away jackets that are pinned here, classic Hater vibes. And then I feel like when we see this like jogger pant kind of like this gathered um uh uh this what am I saying? Gathered hem at the ankle or along the ankle. I feel like this kind of goes between the sporty luxe collections that we would see at Tom Ford. Like we've seen the silhouette at Tom Ford before, and it's something that he loves, and also something that Hader enjoys as well. We've seen this also equally matched in prior Hader Ackerman collections. Oh, screen went black. Do you see me now? Let me know. Give me a little heart. Give me a little like. Give me a thumbs up, y'all. If you're just joining and you haven't thumbs up, I don't know what you're doing. So please give me some love. Give your boy some love. Let me know if you're enjoying the live. Um, and so also the line of departure that we saw was in like the glitziness or the lack thereof. Like this wasn't a super sparkly glam collection in the way that Tom Ford would normally do it. A lot more muted, a lot more matte. Like I said, a lot of that black leather, some brown leather as well. Oh, and shout out to the fact that we had both Kristen and Lily, mother and daughter, stomping down that runway. In addition to Kristen McMenemy, one thing about Kristen, she's also like a visual representation of both the Tom Ford and Hader Ackerman worlds. She walks for both designers. She's walked from both designers in the past regularly. Um, and I think that she's kind of also an example of like that masculine feminine energy that both Tom Ford and Hader Ackerman love to experiment with in their collections. As far as a highlight for me, though, we saw these smoking jackets. I'm trying to pull up. These smoking jackets definitely brought me back into that Tom Ford era. Um, and I think people really went up. Oh, this trio right here was a highlight for me because, like I said, this neon green and this soft pink, followed by this bright yellow with this chocolate brown underneath, and then finally this steely, very cool silver with this deep blue underneath as well. Definitely feels like another great example of Hader kind of marrying his world and Tom Ford's together. That colorway is really getting shown off. That love for color is really having its time to shine, and I love that. And then we saw that here as well with the menswear, and then these caftans. Now, this one right here, this caftan right here. Oh, I can even pull up the runway part of it. It's working now. Good. Then we had the caftans come out in these muted colorways. Once again, it really felt like Hader's vibe coming out in full force. But we saw the caftan, the blue one in the back, completely open at the side, and we just saw that at D squared with I think that was Isabella Fontana. Was it Isabella Fontana? I think it was, or no, it wasn't Isabella Fontana. It was another model, and she had on the brown caftan, but I think that looked like it was a wardrobe malfunction, like it was completely open at the side. And then we saw another one. I don't know, they seem out of place in the collection. I think it was like a breakup of the more kind of like rigid stuff with a little bit of fluidity in between. And also, I think the caftans are definitely a Tom Ford thing as well. Definitely gives that jet setter vibe and that sexiness, but in the Hater Ackerman way. Um, Opening up the full side. I don't know how Tom Ford is a fascinating person indeed. I don't know how people are supposed to wear that caftan. This was another highlight moment that people went up for. People love the vest worn, these dresses worn by Mona Tugard and Vittoria Soretti. What was I wanting to say? Um, And I also love the sparkly gray bits. There were these sparkly gray looks. Let me pull them up. These sparkly gray looks here that I believe were like a wool material or something like that. And I think once again really echo that marriage of the masculine meets feminine. There's like this roughness to a material that's actually really soft, but it reads very textured, very aggressive. And I think that that was a great example of the continuation of that theme. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. You know, another thing that I love seeing, in addition to uh Kristen McMenemy being on the scene. Oh, this was the other piece here. This kind of shift dress or column dress. Oh, mm, okay. I want to see, do they have him here? Because he did have Scott Barnhill. Did y'all catch Scott Barnhill? I don't know if you recognize him because he looks real thin in the runway. Ah, I just was about to, just when I found him. Y'all recognize this man? Do y'all recognize this man? Let me know if you do. Does he look familiar to you? This man was running shit back in the day. Y'all recognize Scott Barnhill or no? Do you not remember him from the throwback ads, the Saint Laurent, the Tom Ford, the Gucci ads, the Tom Ford Gucci ads? Let me see. I got a photo of him from back in the day when he used to walk for Gucci back in the day. Yeah, this man, I mean, he's a 90s fashion icon. He was in all of the Poppin' ads, walking for all the Poppin' designers, and was a mainstay on the Tom Ford runway, no matter where he went, whether it was for his brand, whether it was for Saint Laurent when he got there, whether it was for Gucci, he was always a part of the thing. Let me see if I could zoom in. That was him. Um, Getting back into this thing to kind of seal off the deal when it comes to Tom Ford, the one thing, hold on. Sorry, I don't know if I blinked out. Who was he? He's a 90s model, babe. And he used to walk all of the shows. He used to walk all of the shows and used to walk all of the Tom Ford shows specifically. Like he was the Tom Ford boy. Um, Babe, it cracked. It cracked a little bit, but let me not say too much. You never know what people are going through these days. So I hope that he's all right. Now, here's the thing. Here are a couple last things that a last couple ideas about the whole Tom Ford Hader Ackerman deal that I want to kind of like just inject into the atmosphere and leave y'all with. And maybe you've got some answers or some ideas yourself, right? So let's talk. My thing is, it seems like they're trying to orchestrate something in terms of how present we, the public, understand Tom Ford to be in the Tom Ford brand right now. To, the way that they ran it in the press circuit, it was like Tom Ford was removing himself, taking his hands off the reins of the Tom Ford brand, and really trusting Xenia, who bought Tom Ford's menswear, L'Oreal, who kind of took over the cosmetics parts of things, and really trusting them and I think they did the women's wear as well, and really trusting them to hold it down. He's like, I'm done. I ain't got shit to do with this anymore. That life is done. I got my kid. I ain't got my nigga by my side no more. So I'm just trying to, and I got my film company. I got my ranch, or I think he left the ranch after his man passed, but he's like, I just want to just live, laugh, love forevermore. You know what I mean? But then Peter Hawkins came in, right? Peter Hawkins came in and he started talking his shit. Remember, Peter Hawkins was like, "Oh, I help I help basically make the Tom Ford menswear what it is. I did this, I did that, blah blah blah." And then what happened? GQ article where Tom Ford is like, there were some things that motherfucker has said that I really did not fuck with. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He was like, that Tom Ford brand, that Tom Ford menswear, that's mine. I started that. Tom Ford started Tom Ford. Don't get it fucked up. Exactly. Period, point blank. Like, don't get too ahead of your britches. And the thing was, I feel like Peter kind of fucked up the gig. He fucked up the jig, right? Because the idea was Tom was gonna let the collections go, and kind of like I feel like it was gonna be like almost like a Gaultier vibe, where like now when we see the Gaultier Couture collab collections, Gaultier is always like he'll be in the photos. He'll kind of give a quote here and there. He'll be like, I loved it, or I love that they chose this person. Like, this person will be great to do such and such and such. But like he's not really like toiling. Like, he gives the idea that he's kind of like the fairy godmother over the thing. But when it comes to this, Tom kept it cute and was kind of like, this is my last interview, right? I'm not saying shit about shit anymore. And then after Peter started running his mouth, that's when he stepped back up to the plate and was like, let's correct this motherfucker right now. And then what happened? After that runway show, it was curtains for Peter. Peter didn't get past the first lookbook release that he did for, I think, Resort, and then whatever collection was his first runway show. After that, Xenia wasn't fucking with him either. He was out the door immediately. And now we've got Hader come in. And of course, here comes Tom again. Like, I love Hader. I think he's going to do a great job of what the goal is right now for the Tom Ford brand. You know what I mean? The one thing about Tom Ford, and Tom Ford as a brand, while it does have its signatures and things that we know to expect from it, the high power glam and the sexiness, and also that corporate cunt vibe, that corporate thought vibe that I love so much, it also hasn't really evolved. It also got to a point, and that's what I was saying when Tom had left. He kind of left at a point where there wasn't much left to say. There wasn't much left to really explore as far as like in a new way when it came to the Tom Ford universe. I feel like everything had kind of just gotten on this hamster wheel. And there wasn't much springing from that. Like, the Tom Ford thing had gotten really stale, to be honest. And you know what? I love someone with a way with words. I love a good wordsmith. Vanessa Friedman had the perfect phrase for it. And this is exactly what I would call a Christian Siriano collection. She said that Tom Ford had basically been relegated to a red carpet indulgence. We see a lot of Tom Ford on the carpets. We see it in these high profile celeb moments, but we don't really see it strong outside. Like, for sure, we'll see a name drop in the music and things like that, but like there's not really a visual impact to Tom Ford in the way that even like Balmain has had in the past few years, where when you see the piece, aside from the label and of course like the beauty being a hit and also of course the accessories and the shoes, but I think it's a lot easier for a lot of brands to make their accessories and their footwear like a trend fodder, you know what I mean, or a commercial fodder, as opposed to the ready to wear. Where was I going with that? But besides that, the strength in being able to communicate the accessories and footwear and handbags, especially because they're also very logo heavy. So, you get that factor on the commercial tip. There's not really any commercial appeal outside of that, as far as the next era, the new era, or what the Gen Z and above would recognize as Tom Ford. There's not really something for people to cling to anymore. Most especially in the marketing. I don't even pay attention to the campaigns anymore. It just got really like, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. And that was something that, Tom made it clear in so many words, because he's also someone with a way with words. It's not what he says, it's what he doesn't say. Peter didn't get the job done. And now it seems like Hader is the one that's really nailing it. But also, they in the New York Times article, Vanessa mentions a really distinct situation when it comes to the Tom Ford brand, right? Because I can't really think of a lot of other brands that have this trifecta going on, where they are both a fairly new brand, not really a heritage brand. The Tom Ford brand is about 20 years old, as Vanessa reported it in the article. So there's that. She's a baby, the Tom Ford brand. It's a brand where the ethos and the DNA and literally the name are all tied directly into the designer. Tom Ford, the person, is a representation of the Tom Ford brand. Tom Ford is the Tom Ford man and woman. So it gets like he's kind of like the pinnacle and the direction. You look to Tom Ford to understand how to dress like Tom Ford, how to smell like Tom Ford, how to entertain, how to speak like Tom Ford. It all connects through. That was the storyline. Like, he is the narrative. Tom Ford collections were just as much a part of Tom Ford the man as the man was the clothing. So there's that. A new brand that is specifically defined by its designer. 1 and 2. And third, um, also a brand that is new, is specifically defined by their designer, and also has that same designer, that same creative director depart from the brand and cut his ties. So where do you go from there? I don't know any other brands that we can think of that are like newly founded. The designer is the brand is the designer, and the designer is gone. Like, what do you do from there? It does open up kind of a challenge. Once again, with the Tom Ford brand being so stale and on this hamster wheel, and the main, the main crown jewel is gone, what is left? It puts it in a very treacherous spot, a really vulnerable place. And I was saying this before, it can easily go where Blue Marine went recently, right? Before David Coma got in, because once Blue Marine started to revive itself, and they had that, they kind of went through a couple different designers, but this most recent moment where there was this Y2K buzz that wasn't going to last long, that really, the days were numbered as soon as that became the continuing, element that they explored in the Blue Marine collections, that Y2K. Once it was gone, and once Nicola, I forget the name of the designer, I think it was Nicholas, once he was gone, it became, okay, so now what is Blue Marine? And I think what happens is, as you kind of have these spikes over and over and over again, that are kind of distinct, and not continuous and consistent from one to the other, it waters down more and more the brand recognition. We don't know what Blue Marine means anymore. We got a couple seasons of Y2K stuff, really crazy. Okay. That was out of the blue. And then it was gone. And then we got these other collections, I think, from the house that didn't really connect to that either. And they were also really weak. So then it was like, I don't we're losing even more and more the sense of what Blue Marine's flavor is, and I think that that is the risk that Tom Ford, that the people that are running Tom Ford now are very understanding of. It's a place that could easily go left with a couple bad collections. It can quickly undo the work that they have done to really establish the Tom Ford brand right now. And so, I say that all that to say that as meek and as humble as Hader is, and I think that's another thing about Hader that Tom Ford and Xenia and the Tom Ford brand love, that he is so humble and is so, I'm very, he seems very intentional with what he's trying to do and isn't here for the glitz and the glam. He's never one of those designers trying to be like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And that's also something that I'm really curious to see how that will evolve as time goes on, because Tom Ford, you had no choice but to look at him, because once again, Tom Ford is the brand. How is that going to go? Although I feel like with his recent jobs work collaborating with Fila and also with Canada Goose, he is getting out there more. He is a lot more present. You are seeing his face a lot more. And that's why I got motherfuckers in the damn DMs now talking about how they're trying to, put hands on my nigga. They try to, suddenly everybody wants Hader Ackerman. I'm like, y'all are such followers. Y'all are so bandwagon. But you know what? I'm not even going to do too much. I'm going to let you have it. That is a beautiful man. And that is also my man. He's secure and so am I. Oh no. I'm not starting anything. I'm not starting anything that wasn't already being started in the DMs. Okay? Y'all know how y'all are. You know how you do. Y'all do this every... I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not even gonna do whatever. The live is still going well. I'm just stating facts. Like, I'm not even saying anything that was not clearly expressed in the past 24 hours. So it's whatever. It really is whatever. I'm calm. I'm cool as a cucumber, okay? I don't care. But speaking of Tom you can tell Tom loved the collection. Tom was pleased. And he talks about Don, you already know. I'm over it. I'm not doing this with y'all tonight. I told myself before I got on the live, I don't ever have to fight over no nigga. I've never done it in all of my, my redacted years of living. I've never had to fight over a man, and I'm not about to do it tonight. Not with y'all. All right. Let me end this thing right here. But Tom loved the collection. And in the article, this is why I'm telling y'all, read the article. Please read the article. Also, because she gave it up for the free. I don't know how long it's going to be available to watch, to read for free. But he says how they've always had this flirty relationship. They've had this flirty professional relationship. He's always said professional relationship. And he said how they first started to get to know each other, and they have this really deep love and respect and admiration for each other. And he talks about how he got invited to the Met Gala. His first time really connecting with Tom Ford is that he got invited to the Met Gala one year. And it was with Anna Wintour, expressly was like, yo, you're going to bring your ass. He was like, I'm not really one to pull up to these kind of events like that. And also I don't have anything to wear. So I don't know if I'm really feeling like going. He wasn't really jacking it. And he said, Anna was like, you have no choice but to go. I know Anna be talking to these motherfuckers like a dog. I said what I said. I don't understand. I don't understand why we thought this was a conversation. I said, you're coming to the Met Gala. So either you're coming to the Met Gala, or you're arriving at the Met Gala, or you're traveling to New York for the Met Gala, or you will be landing shortly in America to attend the Met Gala. But your ass will be at the motherfucking Met Gala. Thank you so much. Clicks phone. I need that in my life. I need that war boss energy to be able to just whip these niggas into shape. Because the fuck, you already know if Anna says it, it's probably going down just like that. But he says that they have this really, flirty relationship. professionally. And can we, I don't know if they show it in the video, but let me see if I could find the video for y'all. But they like hugged, like, at the end of the collection, Hader went straight to Tom Ford. Like, as he hit the runway, he goes straight to Tom Ford, gives him a couple kisses, I think, on the lips, a deep hug, all of that. And it's got me thinking, y'all think they fucked? Y'all think they fucked? Chime in, chime in, chime in. Y'all think Tom and Hader hunched? I feel like they did. I feel like it went down. I don't know. I feel like it went down. And not for nothing, um, Tom is most definitely topping. Tom is most definitely topping. Because Tom don't necessarily give verse. Tom gives, and from his interviews and stuff, it gives Tom maybe bottom once or twice, here or there on occasion, just to say he did, just to see what it was like, just to see if it was like giving. But he's definitely a top before anything. He's definitely giving Dom top. Why can't I find the video? I was like, what is going on here? Why y'all double kissing on the lips and all of this back and forth and back and forth? I was like, excuse me. I was like, Hater, not you embarrassing me out here like this. Every time you claim a nigga, Hater loves to party. Oh yes, I've heard. I've heard. And they said the same. He said specifically in the article, like, after the event, after the show was over, he was like, I just hope people are happy. At the end of the day, I did my thing. I did the best I could. And, when we're done, me and the team are going to go to a little undisclosed spot and we are going to party our asses off. Hmm. I'm trying to find it for y'all, but I can't. But I don't know. There's just too much tension. There's too much tension. I can't find the video. I cannot find the video. Oh, I think I found it. Take a look, y'all. Take a look, y'all. Take a look, y'all. Was that a kiss? And that was afterwards. He kissed before and then kissed after too. No, there's a better angle, bitch. Hold on. Because there is most certainly a better angle. Because I was on it. I was just like, excuse me. Excuse me. Have some couth. Why would you act like this when you know I was going to be watching? Why would you embarrass me like that? But the kissing on the lips and all of that, I don't, not too much. No, you need to see the whole thing because he goes over to him. They kiss on the lips twice. They hug. They kiss on the lips again. I just feel like it's giving. There's a little bit more than meets the eye. And Tom does look good. He's doing it for the male pattern baldness girlies, though. I must say, like, that pushback forehead is his staple. It is his staple. He is doing it for the big foreheads. If anyone hasn't put a thumbs up on this live, could you please do me a favor and get that situated for your boy? I would appreciate it. But yeah, stop discussing my man. It's always this. It's always fucking this. Anyway, bitch, let's move on to the next motherfucking show before you piss me off even more. But all in all, I really liked what we saw from this first offering. It definitely is not a classic Tom Ford show. So when people are saying like, "Thank you for all the thumbs ups, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you," as much as they talk about that, I'm not seeing it. I feel like it's cap. Let's talk about the Alaya show. Let us get into Alaya. Did we see the Alaya show from Peter Muller? Yep. All right, sharing the screen with y'all now. I hope it hasn't been lag. Has it been laggy? Has it been super laggy? I think we're cooking with gas tonight. Alaya. Alaya. What did we think? Can't wait to hear what you have to say on this one. Ciao. What did y'all think? You know, I was reading through once again the reviews and um Peter's notes on what the collection was about and as I listened to or as I read him talking about this idea of movement and you know uh what feels safe and what feels the tan looks like a condom. Absolutely. Hi, welcome to everyone that's joining the Yungfleur live space. It's your boy Yungfleur. I'm live. We're talking about the autumn winter 2025 fashion week things. We are in Paris, babe. So you know it's hitting. Stick around, share the live, and let me know what you think. So, um, with this collection, he talked about there was specifically something he said about because the collection kind of goes all over the place, right? With these more eccentric moments like that condom look, the tufted Tisha Campbell shoulders all over, which I loved. Um, Oscar nominated custom designer but lost. I think it expresses a sexuality and sensuality through material and not fit, of course, which is what the house is built on. Yes, absolutely. But he talks about this commonality of textures and silhouettes across different cultures and across different times, across time and space, essentially, and how that is the through line between all these different looks that we got here. This idea, I didn't look into the specifics, but I saw something about hoodies being compared to some shit from the 19th century. What was it? Let me see. Mm-mm-mm. And so that is what serves the as the impetus for developing the collection. He said that the goal wasn't necessarily to do a collection that was decidedly like very out there and avant-garde, but more so to explore those commonalities and where they go. Let me pull up review. And this is from the Vogue app. This is by Sarah Mower. Um, He said, yeah, binding the shapes and textures together was their commonality across cultures and customs throughout the world. Something about hoodies and coifs traditional to northern Spain from the 16th century, and then comparing them to African tribal ceremonial dress. As Sarah mentions in her parentheses, he was not specific about which African country he was talking about. You know how the girls do us. You know how the girls do it. It's always, oh yeah, there was this African, this African, that. I'm like, babe, there are 54 countries. East and West Africa don't give it up the same. North Africa definitely doesn't give it up the same way South Africa does. And I wish that when people talk about I wish when people talked about Africa, we recognize multitudinousness, how multitudinous African culture and the quote unquote collective African aesthetic is. There are so many other things going on. And it kind of like when we do that, it becomes I don't know how many people are here, but it becomes Beyonce's Black is King. It becomes this hodgepodge of everything where if you are not somebody with the context, if you are not an African, you don't know where one thing begins, one thing ends. Everything kind of gets blended so much that if you're not careful, um, it loses meaning. It loses meaning. That is the one thing about blending aesthetics and kind of blending all of these inspirations that you do have to be careful of. Like and can kind of just be an inherent part of the ideation process. Certain things get lost. Certain parts of that context do have to be sacrificed when you are kind of like smashing different things together to create something new. But and diluted, right? And I feel like that is something that is not unique to incorporating African designs or inspiration from across the continent in the work. But I also think that there is such a lack of understanding, or still such a learning curve to the African world when it comes to fashion and aesthetics, and specifically how different it is from place to place and from peoples to peoples, that you can't play around, not you can't, but like playing around with African designs like that, and especially when you start to explain them on the back end, it can really do a disservice to our cultures. If you don't know what you're talking about and you can't say that shit, like let me know which ceremonial dress. Like at least give the girls an opportunity to explore, make it an opportunity for people to learn. If this is this Senegal, is this South Africa, is this, Tanzania, is this Morocco? Like where are we looking to? I will say the glam came to play no games. I think they always do. And there's always this like calmness, I think, to the Alaya beat. There's always the contours there, but it's soft. I think it poses a lot of questions and asks us to reimagine what we deem sexy. I see so much art in it, if I'm honest, like sculpture. That's a great point, Auntie. I think in my bigger, on my wider angle look at the collections, when we look at Prada, for example, there is this question that designers are asking about sexiness. Like, what is sexy, and why do we go up for certain things as sexy? Why do we prize certain things as an example of sexiness? Um, some more things. I think, oh, and then he also talks about, the idea of body consciousness. And so, of course, body consciousness is a more pronounced focus of the Alaya brand since Alaya was in town, in town. Oh my God, what the fuck? Forgive me. Since Alaya was, alive and designing for the brand, it's always been a staple. These bodycon materials and silhouettes, and with this collection, Peter suggests the idea of body consciousness not only just serving to, skim the lines along the curves of the body, but also to offer the sense of protection, protection and strength and sexiness, constantly being explored with this last series of collections. Even when I was talking about with the Balmain, once again, this sense of power, and what does power mean, and how do we communicate power and security, specifically, not just power but security, a feeling of like, I know who I am, I'm okay, and in my internal world everything is balanced. And how do we communicate that through clothing, and this idea of protection even. So we see these like shell jackets that I loved. Um, let me pull it up. But there were these shell jackets. Let me see if I can pull it up. Like this look here. I really loved these shell jackets that just like the lines that they create on the body and how they play against the silhouette. And like I said, it looks like armor at the same time, the way that it's shaped. I thought good. And we see more of them here. I love the brows. Let's the glam for a second. Y'all got me in my beauty bag a little bit, but I lived for this glam. Strong brow, a very contoured, it's still contoured, but also still very light on the cheeks as well. And then this kind of aura of brown, or this deep kind of warm brownish aura around the eyes. Like it's strong. It is strong, no doubt about it. It's strong beauty, but it's also not once again, I feel like it's all about being in this place where like I feel I feel secure in myself. Um and it made me think about like the Prada collection because sorry, with that Prada collection, there was a lot of like ugly shit, right? Oh fucking unbroke. That collection was about ugly as hell. And on purpose. And Prada collections are kind of ugly is the thing. Like that's kind of like the MO. Yeah, bear with me, y'all. This one is even worse than the one I did yesterday. Oh, this is oh baby, this roll. I'm not even gonna show y'all. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. But moving on with more of the looks. Sorry. And I love the looks as well. I feel like it really defined the glam as well. Look, as long as it lights, okay? That's all that matters in my book. The glam is soft, however, very defined areas of focus. Exactly. Like I feel like even on Alex, you can see it a little bit better. Like just a cheeks there, that cheekbone situation. Hi, welcome to everyone that's joined the Yungfleur Live Space. I'm Yungfleur. We are live. If you were just popping in, we are talking about Autumn Winter 2025 Fashion Week here in Paris, or not here in Paris, but there in Paris. Please go ahead and thumbs up the live. I really would appreciate that. And stick around. We're talking about a lie right now, baby. But yes, the glam was over. And then even we saw him continue to explore negative space like he did in that collection at the Guggenheim. And so we see here once again the cutouts. Once this as we were saying before, this kind of exploration of body consciousness and what that means. And it's kind of like Alaya's sense of body, but done under Peter Mullier's way. The black models, breathtaking. Yeah, listen, the girls, and that's another thing. I love the Elia, not love, but like the Elia castings are always chic. Now, Elia is also not one to show bigger girls on the runway. They're not one to show bigger girls on the runway, at least not under Peter's era. Oh, I love this coat. Hold on now. Oh, this right here. Let's get into this motherfucking coat. This was my one of my favorite whole. This coat was so good. She's gorgeous. But let's talk about this coat, bitch. The tufted shoulders on that. It reminded me of like I think something we'd seen from Givenchy, Alexander McQueen era. So good. I'm in love with this coat, bitch. This is rich mama talking. She is in the room. The coat is so good. Morgan, thanks for joining, my love. I appreciate it. Welcome to this. And I think the tufted shoulder kind of bit, once again, this body consciousness and this sense of protection. But with Alaya, that's the thing. Like Balmain has been softening up, but with Balmain, but with Alaya, it's always been soft. It's always still been very flowy, still very fluid as well. Definitely giving like for. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure this is. This was another coat that I loved. So, and the way that they did it, where it kind of comes down in this diagonal pattern, and kind of cascades diagonally down the thing, so there are panels where it's not completely furry. Gorgeous. I'm loving the wind blow silhouette. It's so good. Amazing, amazing. Hold on, not this. Now, as far as those condom looks, I've been like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what all of that is. Did we like the condom looks? Hold on, let me see if I can get to them. These condom looks, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not getting with it. You didn't like them either, Morgan? It was not my favorite. And then the other part of it is like, who who is the Elia woman? Like, is she wearing this? As we continue to explore, this idea of sculpture and people being dressed as sculpture, women being dressed as sculpture, there still needs to be a level of like being able to also wear the thing. Like, are people going to actually buy that? And that's how I feel about even like the Prada. Like those Prada deliberately frumpy looks, like, sure, y'all made y'all point. Like, it's definitely for the intellectual dolls. But if somebody sees that, are they going to want to wear that on the street? Or like an ear, but imagine them shot. Oh yeah, of course. Editorially, they're gonna eat down. Editorially, they're gonna be the thing. But I don't see this being something that is going to sell like that, you know? For sure. Definite editorial, but these things are supposed to sell, right? Like, it's art. I think we need the conversation, the critical thinking. But that's the thing, me myself personally, I'm at least someone who sees fashion as a business, as art. Like, I don't see it that way. Like, at the end of the day, there is still a commercial aspect that is intrinsic in the nature of the creation process that designers are forced to recognize. You're not just up there just to put cute looks. You're supposed to make looks that make money, right? I don't think every piece needs to sell or be wearable. I agree. I certainly agree. I certainly agree. I can see that point because there definitely is a need, kind of like with the couture shows. Which, I mean, what is the need for a couture show these days? Not a need because people are wearing couture, but like that's not something that everybody's getting their hands on or is accessible to everyone even. But I do think that it is the couture still serves as an example for brands to really go off and show the height of execution and their the conceptual aspect of the brand. So maybe these pieces do stand to be kind of like these beacons or these buoys along the way in the whole collection, and these centerpieces maybe, but not necessarily the piece to buy. I think there needs to be room for it all. Some looks for art, some looks to sell. Sure. But Alaya is a brand, because I was about to say, the way some of these brands are selling, I don't know if they can literally afford to just cut away some looks just for art. But Alaya is a brand that makes a lot of their money off of their handbags. Like, that's one thing that Peter really got going in his time, his tenure. He's really made the accessories and the footwear, because those netted ballet flats still go off. Not ballet flats, the netted like Mary Jane or like ballet heels. Mhm. But that said, I really love the tufted moments. I think those were my favorites. I mean, to be honest, it's the artware that keeps us talking. And that's fair. Like, I think, Alaya isn't really one of those brands that goes for like the gags as far as like their promotion or their marketing is concerned. So I can see them kind of leaning onto their art, their like you said, their art, their creativity. Simple as that. Because if everything was wearable, I think we'd ask where's the fashion, but I love drama, so I digress. Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it depends from person to person. I love drama. I love to see, and my thing is, once again, I'm not saying that these aren't looks that could end up being worn in the wild like that. I'm just saying, knowing how things work, like it's probably not likely. If it ended up taking off and becoming a trend, I would love that as well, or at least would find it interesting, or at the very very least, I wouldn't be mad at it. It's about to be 11. Let's talk about the Dries Van Noten show, and then if y'all want to talk about maybe one more show before I go, we can do that. I really gave this one a lengthy one. Like when I really take my time, this is how I feel like my lives can go. Like they get very like when I really delve into the collections and have some time to look at them, this is how it goes. Not our usual super fast breeze through 20 different collections, but I hope you guys are enjoying the deeper dive today, or tonight. Let me get into Drees. All right, I'm pulling up the video. And so here we go. Drees, Autumn Winter 2025. Did you guys get to catch this one? And chime in. Hold on. I'm pulling up the Drees on my phone as well on the Vogue app. Do y'all have other? I know Morgan, you told me about that. I don't know if Morgan is still, but um Morgan Lewis or Morgan L, you told me about this one website that you go to that you like to um look at the shows on. That's the one that we were using last time. I forgot the name of it. Mm-mm-mm. So I'm reading Tag Walk. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna try and I think I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use Tag Walk. I'm gonna pull Tag Walk. Yes, Tag Walk. Thank y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Morgan. Um, I'm reading specifically from the Vogue review from Nicole Phelps of the Dries Van Noten collection. So Klausner, as you know, Julian Klausner is now the creative director for Dries Van Noten after he also stepped down from his brand. So Klausner, who was named creative director in early December following Van Noten's retirement, has spent 6 years at the Belgian label and has learned by doing. The mission for him is different from that of the week's other designers with debuts. He isn't righting the wrongs of an interim guy to get the company back on track, as is Hader Ackerman's task at Tom Ford. Shade, but facts. And he's not going back to the beginning, as Sarah Burton has opted to do at Givenchy. Klausner has taken over the reins for one of fashion's insider favorites, a maker of exceptional clothes for real life, recognizable on the runway and in the front rows. In many ways, he has the hardest job of them all because of the industry's affection for Van Noten, and because he's untested in this kind of leadership role. So as they're saying, like the difference with Tom Ford is not only that uh 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 um what were they saying? Not only that Hader Ackerman is kind of like taking over for someone that fucked up essentially, but also it's a brand where the creative director is still alive and just recently left. And of course, like Julian doesn't make himself the face of Dries like Tom did at Tom. But also like I said, Tom Ford is a brand that I think got really stale and really stagnant, and we'd kind of seen everything that we need to see, right? But Dries Van Noten still has been heavily followed, heavily lauded, heavily, collected and shopped for. There are still a lot of diehard Dries Van Noten fans. I don't know that there are really diehard Tom Ford as the fashion brand. I don't know that there are diehard Tom Ford fans. I'm sure there are some label whores, but like it's not the same. Like there are people who build their life and their lifestyle around Dries Van Noten. I don't think people necessarily build their lifestyles around Tom Ford as much as it's like it allows them to kind of like access, unlock, or kind of fit in with a certain narrative. And so to be a creative director who has never been a creative director at a brand before, and your job is to kind of take on this entire following and lead them in the direction for a brand that they're still looking to see things from. It's a really particular kind of pressure. Let me continue reading. He said, I wanted to let my imagination go a bit, and I wanted to go kind of strong with some pieces. But I always had in mind it's about a wardrobe, and these pieces should exist in real life. He's focused on the commerciality as well. And there should be flexibility to how you wear them. So a sense of versatility, not kind of like a one-stop shop kind of outfit. Definitely like all of these pieces are things that I think can be interchanged and kind of dressed up and dressed down in a cool way. So it's not kind of like there you go with that blazer again. You know what I mean? I feel like the way that the pieces um look, you can kind of also wear them in so many different ways, create so many different moods with them. And that is the beauty of Dries Van Noten as well. Like it's you can go super punk with it, you can go extra sexy with it, you can give a bohemian vibe with it, you can kind of really Dries Van Noten is a brand that is really directed in the way that it appears visually, the way that it presents itself on its runways and in its campaigns and in its styling. But it's a brand that once the pieces are in the shop, you're not afraid. These are pieces that you're not afraid of. You can totally wear them your way. It's the play on do rags and doobie wraps as well. Yes, I like the way that they styled the headwear as well. He says, I've always loved the stage, the interplay of prints and textures and embroideries, classic Dries Van Noten there. And that's something that he's kind of kept the torch still burning on since he started there. Um, and then they said the emphasis on elaborate draping over more classic sportswear shapes less so. Um, he noted that the brand, so Dries Van Noten, the brand selected the opera location early and that it informed the collection. He said, I always loved the stage. And then also, for the first show, I had this idea of a curtain opening. It was really kind of special and comfortable to have that venue in mind the whole time. From the get go, we could imagine everything within the context of the opera. So this idea of performance as well is inflected there. And apparently, Dries Van Noten appeared at the show as well. I like that with what we're getting from this brand. Julian seems to be also very unafraid to continue and channel his vision for things. And like they also said, and they pointed out in the review, there's a lot less of the sportiness that we would get from Dries Van Noten, because that was also like an element that he would mix in with that bohemian vibe to really give something eclectic. And it's still eclectic, like we said, like we said, Auntie, like it's still for the eclectic freaks. Like get into just this texture and print and color play right here. Very swaggy. Let me pull up the tag walk, like I was saying. But I'm also enjoying just stopping that you. She's fab. I love this model here. This is for the girls, okay? She's fab. It's the bigger sister to what CJR is aiming for. Interesting, interesting, interesting that you point that out. I gotta sit on that one. I gotta sit and think on that. But I mean, it definitely is there. Like you said, there is that performance aspect, I think, of the CJR stuff, and that it is so eccentric. The blend of colors. He doesn't really blend prints too much, but more so the color blocking there is so distinct. I love this tassel piece. This tassel dress, we're gonna see. It's gonna be an editorial hit, I think, as well. But we're gonna see this on some more. This is fab. I don't know why, but I'm like, for some like Solange and something like this. I don't know why it's hitting me like that, but I feel like I could see Solange rocking a fit like this. I really do love the tassel period of things. Oh, this belt is so good. Listen, and this bob is serious, okay? Frazzled bob goes crazy, right? The belt is essential. Ugh, look at that. Gorgeous. And not for nothing, it would be a fire DIY project. Welcome to everyone that's joined into the Yungfleur Live space, by the way. I'm Yungfleur. We are live talking about the Autumn Winter 2025 Fashion Week collections. Please give your boy a thumbs up. Chad, we've been going through it for about 2 hours now. You know how I give it up. You know I got the stamina. We gonna get it in before I get out. That was real. That wording was a lot. But anyway, I love this belt. It was a good collection. Some of the people I see sayers, that's fair. But this was a collection. This was a good one. And I think Julian Klausner has been doing a good job. He's making pieces that the Dries Van Noten kind of family still wants to go up for and collect. Now I'm curious, do y'all have would you would you say the best of the season so far? Hard, I would not say that. Oh, I really loved I didn't get to stop. I forgot to stop on this earlier, but these waist belts that he did, it really reminded me of like Hader Ackerman because Hader loves like a textured belted blazer situation. This belt, now this waist belt right here, yeah, I definitely wouldn't say it's the best of the season so far. But this waist belt, this look right here, I love. That is good. I wonder, is there another show y'all wanted to talk about? Was there another show that got y'all up that you want to get out of your system before the night is over? Please chime in. Let your boy know. We've been going at it. We've talked about so far Alaya. We've talked about Balmain. We've talked about Tom Ford. We talked about Dries, of course. What other designers were catching your eye this season so far? We can even go before today, like some of the older ones. Scap did happen today. I was supposed to I was supposed to look at that before I end my night. Let's see if we can finally. Hopefully they got it up. But I know with Scaparelli they take a little minute. it's not up there. But child, let me just go to tag walk then. I can't find the video. If y'all have a link to where the video is playing, let me know and I'll pull it up. Like the full video. Otherwise, I gotta like look through TikToks and things. Oh, child, they ain't even got it either. Why are the people not working? It's only the impression that has it. I can't find it. Unless I was to go on the Vogue app. Um, Let me see. If anything, I can pull up the looks on here though. What did we think of the Schiaparelli show though? This is one look here. Check that out. Don't mind my nails. And these are kind of hot. Like, check this out. Yeah. I can't even. Maybe I can get closer. It's so ghetto. But these are kind of sexy. Daniel giving it to us kind of sexy this time around. I mean, it's a gorge collection though. This one right here, this is fire. You know B is gonna be in this right here. With the horseshoe belt. Yeah. Beyonce's gonna be in this like tomorrow. I love how Daniel, incorporates his Texan roots and gives that Texas vibe as well, but also makes it so Parisian chic. It's really cute though. Hmm. Ooh, and this is good too. This coat. Hopefully, we'll have the photos in a little bit, or I mean, more content and video in a little bit. But I think I'm gonna end the live here. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, thank y'all for joining the Young for Life space, y'all. It was a good run. I think that the shows are definitely starting to heat up, but it's Paris, so that's how it goes normally, ain't it? I will be back next Tuesday. I'll be back every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm sticking to it. So Tuesday and Thursday. I know I've said that a billion times, but no. I think just getting on Tuesdays and Thursdays and not trying to get on any other day will kind of keep me more consistent because these shits be burning me out. But I love to do it and I love to have y'all here. I appreciate y'all for pulling up tonight. I'll be back next Tuesday, but please stick around. Check out the Yungfleur Instagram, where of course I'll be sharing more information. Follow the Yungfleur TikTok as well. And let me know if you have any other thing or any other shows that you want me to talk about. It's heating up, babe, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. I'm wondering what other shows we may be getting, but we'll see. We'll see, right? Either way, y'all be blessed. You have a good evening. Thanks for pulling up again. I'll see you again soon, and be well and take care. End your week on a strong note, child, because it's about time. It's about time for us to reach the weekend, child. This week has gone on long enough. I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all real soon. Take care.